What's up, CFM? It's Coach Matt, and welcome to testing week. This whole week, other than today, which will be a tune-up style workout, we'll be going into the remainder of the week in our testing mindset, and then Saturday is Christmas Eve, Sunday is Christmas, so there's a little bit of some alterations to the normal testing week format in light of those two. But as we get going today, I want to give just a couple notes on testing week format, and that is we'll have like 1, 2, or 3 things to test per day, and we encourage you to use the choose your own adventure format of this in order to achieve the testing results that are most important to you. So that means that we're very flexible on when and what order, what day, et cetera, that we do those. I have laid everything out in the program in the way that makes the most sense to me from an energy standpoint, from a mechanic standpoint, from like a loading of the week, so that we are setting you up for the best possible chance of success at each of those lifts. If there's one that is just jumping out to you as you can't wait to do it or you want to do it first, by all means, I want you to take some ownership, take some autonomy out of this and do the thing that makes the most, has the most meaning to you. And with that in mind, I want to get to some basic format discussion about testing week. Number one is that if you've been with us for less than a full cycle of strength training, then you should not be doing testing. And even some people who've been with us for multiple cycles, we should still be doing multiple reps at a moderate weight instead of trying to go for a 1 rep max. And that is kind of on a case-by-case basis based on your age, your training age, your history, movement limitations, all of that stuff. And these are day-to-day decisions that you should be making with the coach that you're in the class with, and not something that I can give you an absolute yes or no right here in this video as to whether you're not going to do it or not. So all I'll say is make sure you talk with your coach about what you're going to do, cautiously approach those 1 rep max levels, and always we are in the mindset of the technical max, which means if you just throw out all your requirements for good technique and you just rip the bar from the floor, you could probably do a few more pounds on a deadlift, or like let your knees cave in and round your back a little bit on that squat. You probably get that next 5 pounds on your back squat. Those things are not worth it in the long run. They are negatives to your training because they set you up to look at a false number, essentially, that you're going to calculate the rest of your percentages, and your mindset is all based around that number that was achieved using substandard technique. Okay, not a good way to set up the next cycle of your training. Also, that's how people get hurt, and also it's not good for other people around you or the class in general for us to be doing extremely heavy weights with lackluster technique, right? It's just not a good practice for you to be in. Sets up a bad habit of when things get really tough, my technique falls apart. I want to create the opposite mindset of I have stellar technique when there's no weight on the bar, I'm paying attention even when it's light, and then when it's heavy, I'm also using that same stellar technique. It's across the board standard, right? So that's kind of the mindset we go into these with, is technical max, not absolute max. When we're doing these. And then it is always fine, even if you've done CrossFit for 20 years, you never have to do 1 rep maxes ever in order to continue building strength, right? In essence, they're just a test. They're an explanation, or they're an exposition of like what you can do, right? It's sort of like the proof of all of the training that you did. But you can also get that proof from, say, a 3 rep max or a 5 rep max. All of those other things are totally valid measures of strength. They don't always have to be based on what can you do for 1 rep. All right, so keep that in mind, that this is not required. This is something that I think is fun. A lot of other people think is fun, heavy lifting. But if all you do is come in and you get the lifts in for the day, and you do a 5x5 or a 5x8, that is totally valid, and just talk with the coach. Again, make it personal, do a lot of communication about this, and think about it before you do it. So today, what we're gonna do is called a testing week tune-up. So we're just gonna go through some explosive movements, but I want them done at a light weight, get the neurological system primed, or the nervous system primed, get yourself ready to do some of these lifts. We're gonna do a barbell complex today. It can also be done with dumbbells if you'd like to. Let's begin today. We're gonna go 2 rounds through 2 minutes of warm-up pace cardio. Then you get your band. We're gonna do some band Romanian deadlifts. So we're standing on top of the band, stretching the hamstrings out before we squeeze and hinge at the hips. All right. Then we're gonna do 2 10-second eccentric push-ups. For these ones, we're counting to 10, going really, really slow, all the way down to the ground, and then a fast aggressive press on the way up. Even if you're using your knees, I want you to try to push hard against the ground on the way up from those, and then stay on the ground for 5 reps on each side of our scorpion stretch. Try to reach and touch your heel to your hand, or get close to it if you can. See, I didn't get very close to it, but it's still a really good stretch. All right, next we're gonna go into the testing week tune-up. So there's gonna be 4 6-minute rounds. Each round is going to be 4 minutes of work, followed by 2 minutes of rest. We're gonna rotate through that cycle 4 times through. The details of what we do are gonna change on each of those rounds. The format is the same. So it will be 1 minute of your choice of cardio. So a minute on the bike, a minute on the rower, a minute on the skier, a minute of jumping rope. And then when I say 3, 2, 1 switch, we're gonna immediately start on 3 minutes of an every minute on the minute barbell set. All right, so there's gonna be 4 different sets that we do, but they're all relatively similar, right? So the first one, and they're all gonna be like some version of this 3, 2, 1 other than the last round. So 3, 2, and 1. So it'll be 3 hang muscle cleans. So I'm gonna start from the knees, single hip extension, pull to the collarbones using the clean bar press. 1, 2, 3, and then I'm gonna set my grip, dip, drive, press, 2 reps of the push press, and then squat with stance, 1 front squat, and then set the bar down, rest for the next minute. My intention on the weight for this is somewhere between 45 and 95 pounds. If you go 95 pounds all the way through this thing, it's gonna light you up. It's gonna give you a good wake up call to those muscles everywhere, and you'll get a little good conditioning effect. If you go a little bit lighter, it'll still be good. Just more for priming the nervous system, again, greasing those movement patterns before we get into them for the rest of the week. All right, so that's gonna be the first round. Then we'll take our 2-minute rest, then you go 1 minute on the cardio, whatever your choice is, and then the next 3-minute EMOM. Okay, so this is hang, power clean, jerk, and front squat. So now, same movement starting and finishing, but now I'm going to power clean. So hip extension, pull down to that power position, 1, 2, 3, 2 reps of a jerk, right? Snap down to that finished position. Notice the difference between that and the push press. And then again, finishing with a single front squat and set the bar down and rest. Doing that cycle 3 times through, okay? Third round, same thing, minute of cardio. After the minute of cardio, 3, 2, 1, go. Now it's going to be, instead of a hang power clean, we're doing a hang squat clean. So from that hang position, squat clean. 1, 2, 3. Then we're gonna go to 2 reps of a bent over barbell row. 1, 2, and then, 1 rep, and we're setting the bar down. And then 1 rep of a max height vertical jump. All right, so after we set that bar down, make sure you step back from it so that you're not gonna hit anybody in front of you or behind you. Swing the arms all the way back, and then 1 big jump and land, okay? So 1 max height vertical leap, and then rest, do that again 2 more times. The final round, 1 minute of cardio, and then I'll pull the weight limit on this. You can do 3 reps of clean and jerk, any style you want. So clean and jerk, 1, 2, 3. If you want to do a squat clean, split jerk, that's fine. If you want to do a muscle clean and squat jerk, whatever you want to do, but ground to overhead 3 times through. All right, and that is our testing week tune-up. Should have enough time for a ROMWOD at the end of this one if we hustle the setup and get through the 24 minutes at a relatively swift pace. And that will get us ready for our first testing day, which is tomorrow, and I will see you then.